those late night shows we're supposed to compete against? Why bother? Who do they offend? The only time Stephen Colbert ruffles feathers is in a pillow fight. The definition of risk to Kimmel is dehydration from crying too much.
Wow, it's really funny to make fun of a guy who got emotional over his child having a heart condition.
Me, I like bashing creeps in power, those stupid talking piñatas in politics, entertainment, and especially the news media, because they're all the same people. Or in Zuckerberg's case, things that look like people. And also because the only way they make money is by making people hate each other.
Oh yeah, because that's not the way that Greg Gutfeld has made his career and makes his money. I mean, this is who Greg Gutfeld is. Enjoy this compilation.
You know who's gonna foot the bill? You are. And you're gonna be ticked off because you paid your loan already and you secretly know that the person that's getting their debt forgiven is just as well off as you are. Watching Klobuchar and watching Kamala Harris, these are people that they just come off smaller and they come off petty. They're like mean girls and they're just jealous because this person happens to be smarter and more successful than they are. And let's not forget that Kamala pushed indiscriminate bail of criminals. When we dearly needed law and order, she chose thugs.
Amongst many, there's this mainstay on Fox News, Greg Gutfeld, who is an unapologetic, unfunny idiot.
They're not as relevant as they are anymore because, for example, women have, all the rights that, they can shop.
I'm glad that he was found guilty on all charges. Yeah. Even if he might not be guilty of all charges.
Oh my God.
I am glad that he is guilty of all charges because I want a verdict that keeps this country from going up in flames.
Oh my goodness.
No.
What do you mean?
Look, Greg, listen.
What do you mean? No, I'm at least being honest. My neighborhood was looted.
Then, of course, this happened.
I remember when I was watching the protests after 2016 when Trump won, and I saw the protests. It was a lot of single women. It wasn't a lot of men, and the men there, they weren't exquisite specimens, let's face it. But I saw a lot of young, angry females. And the Democratic Party, in a way, has become the party of young, angry, single women.
When he said this to those who oppose a white supremacist candidate for president who led an insurrection to overthrow the United States' democracy, one tennis legend said, nah, that Bing tennis great Martina Navratilova. Greg Gutfeld is a misogynistic and a not funny at all asswipe, she wrote on Twitter, underneath an article where Gutfeld said, and I quote, on one side, Biden and the media are creating this psychological conflict between Trump, peace, and democracy, and yet, when you go outside, everybody's happy, everybody's fine. Meanwhile, with actual real people, parents, there's a real battle going on. It's an education because the battle involves their kids. This is not a fabricated conflict. When you have lockdowns, when you have drag shows. When did all of this happen? He continued, eventually pivoting to abortion.
Talk about a not-so-grand slam. Out of the blue, former golf great Martina Navratilova attacked me on Twitter yesterday. She wrote, quote, Greg Gutfeld is a misogynistic and not a funny at all ass wipe. I know. Misogynistic, not funny, ass wipe. Only one of those is true. But I didn't find out until this morning, and it hurt me. I mean, sure, in the 80s, we were hot and heavy. We got in a few fights, but people change, and I moved on. But I don't think she has moved on. And I get it. Her career is on its wane, and mine's completely insane. So that's I know what this is about. But, nothing happens in a vacuum unless you go downtown and pay for it. Apparently, Martina was responding to a tweet with a link covering what I said on the 5 about the Democratic Party no longer representing American families. And nothing makes lesbians from the Czech Republic madder than opinions on American families.
A clueless, laugh track needing dope. And on his show,
Cyrus, what do you make of this attack on me?
There's only one way to settle this.
this bloke named Tyrus. In 2019, this schlub was the subject of a lawsuit filed by a former Fox Nation host. The suit alleged Tyrus, whose real name is George Murdoch, no relation, sent her sexually suggestive texts and photos and behaved inappropriately towards her when they were co-hosts on a Fox Nation show. She also alleged that he created a hostile work environment on the set of the program after she rebuffed his advances. Yet, before the show even began filming in October 2018, McHenry said that Tyrus began sending her those explicit texts and making inappropriate comments to her in person. According to it, however, his increased hostility led McHenry to seek help from Fox management 3 times, each to no avail. Through 2019, she repeatedly sought out their show's executive producer to file harassment complaints about Tyrus's behavior, including once after he cursed at her on set and made her cry. But the producer sat on those complaints, the lawsuit charges. In fact, after that cursing incident, the producer told the host to stop complaining and walked out on the conversation. The co-host was replaceable, her producer said, and Fox News had never wanted her to begin with. It was only after her 4th complaint, filed through her agent, that she heard back from a member of the network's human resources department. Investigators asked her what she had done to provoke Tyrus. Oh, that is interesting. And eventually concluded that his messages did not constitute sexual harassment, the lawsuit says, because there was no clear intent to have sex with her. The network hired an outside defense firm to look into the texts, but the host said it conducted a biased, self-serving sham investigation that found no evidence of sexual harassment.